like I said, listen at 1.5 while you drive or 2.0 on the go. I'm in a new study room and there's no ceiling. I don't get it. Whatever, man. In case you don't know, I'm in Los Angeles and I'm a writer, I'm a videographer. I have a channel called Fallen Angelinos. I'm going to tell you guys exactly what happened at the shoot at Gasoline Alley. So this is the Gasoline Alley shoot, and Jimmy Doom showed up. I'm going to explain to you how they create fake rap beefs. Easy for me to say. These are fake rap beefs. This is what they tried to do with me and Jimmy Doom. They'll have like 20 people mention his name. And so then I mention his name. And then he goes, I don't know, he's obsessed with me. This is what they do. Because I'm mentioning his name, he's just gonna be like, I don't know, dude. I never did anything to that guy. I never had any dealings with him at all, ever. Not once. When I saw him, I walked up to him like, hey, how you doing? I know who you are. He looked at the ground like a bitch because he is a bitch, a sissy, and a snitch. I don't give a fuck who watches this video. I really don't care. This is what they did. And this is the horror that I went through. There's a fake Gordon Ison in Ohio. In Ohio and Florida is where they gang stalk people the most, and they torture them, and they torture them through your device. They can rape you, and they could turn you into, I want to say a female, but what they're doing is through a frequency, is they're crushing your hormones, your chromosomes, your DNA. When I talk about, I'm usually in a good mood. Sometimes I come across as pretty harsh, but I talk about Stanley Kubrick because I'm working on the next episode's gonna be better. I'm gonna go back to my old study room. These are terrible. Like I said, there's no ceiling. What? So anyway, so I went to Vegas. The reason I went to Vegas is I went on a vacation and I'm staying on probation. And the reason I went to Vegas, I guess I gotta keep these on. I can't see anything. I was working as a production assistant, blah, blah, blah. I knew a guy named Jim. Jimmy, where you think you're gonna go? I got a song called Jimmy the Drinker Song. That's the name of the song. My father's name was Jim. A guy in my band was named Jim. And it's an archetype. I knew a guy named Jim. He worked for Beth Melsky Casting in New York City. And I was an actor, and that's how I met my wife, who tortured me for 7 years, and I'm going to explain to you how they did it. So he mentioned that Chris Farley came in. He worked for Beth Melsky Casting. His name was Jim, and we were going to shoot a project together. And I had a Super 8 camera, and he had access to like video equipment. You know, we were just trying to spitball some ideas. And he described when Chris Farley came in, and he was like, oh man, it was so fucking awesome. I'm like, no shit. I'm like, oh man. So obviously this is back when Chris Farley was alive. So he mentioned Vegas, and I worked with this other kid. I don't remember his name, but he took me to Tribeca Studios. He had an office at Tribeca Studios, and he also took me to his house. I don't remember his name. I'm sorry. He was a producer, and he took me to his house, and his house was what I know to be now like a $10 million brownstone in Manhattan. So this is who his parents were, and he mentioned Vegas too, and he mentioned like, you know, like doing coke and getting escorts and stuff like that. So I left New York City. This guy, he OD'd in my apartment, and he fucking stole my coke, and was just like, it was insane. I'm like, man, I need to dry up. So I went out. Anyways, long story longer, I was in Vegas, and I started writing. Okay, now when I was in New York City, like I said, some ex-girlfriend of mine, some plainclothes policeman showed up pushing me around looking for heroin when her mother was there at Sidewalk Cafe. Then I went on just a shoot. Like I said, I was working on a lot of shoots. And one was called A Gun for Jennifer, and then the guy had me read a part that was already cast that really didn't make any sense. They were goofing on me. That's fine. I went on a lot of shoots. You can goof on me all you want. I could care less. But it got nasty with my wife, and I'm going to tell you exactly how they did it. I explained to you how they do these fake beefs they have, and they're all undercover cops. All of them, without exception. They have ties to the police department. And racism is fake. I am here to tell you it is fake. Okay? We're all Americans. There's no such thing as race. People get programmed with this shit in their head. They're insane. In case you need to know, I'm Lumbee Native. Okay? In my mother's haplogroup is Malcolm Gladwell. He's like a liberal NPR kind of guy. Me and Malcolm Gladwell could read the same 3 books. And we would be asked to write a dissertation. We would come up with completely different thesis statements because of his way of thinking, because of my way of thinking. Okay? So, anyway, this is what I'm trying to tell you. Like, he's in my mother's haplogroup, and I believe his kin is from the West Indies. When you look at Jamaicans in Jamaica, they're actually part West African, they're part Caucasian, and they're also part Asian. A lot of them. Like Bob Marley. Anyways, I don't want to get into it. I give you guys gold on my channel. I talk about real things. I'm here in the stacks in downtown LA, and I can't do my show here anymore. I might start doing it outside. Check my channel. It's called Fallen Angelinos. I do short form videos. I do short form videos here. Anyways, so this is the Gasoline Alley shoot with Jimmy Doom. He's a coward, a bitch, a sissy, and a snitch, and a phony, and a fool. And he fucked with the wrong motherfucker. And you're gonna find out what. So, I went out to Vegas. I spent 4 or 5 years there. And I was a lot of things. I was an alcoholic. And basically, in order for me to write Two-Legged Animal, it's like that movie with Jim Carrey where he was the yes man. I had to say yes to everything. And I did drugs, and I did participate in illicit sex, everything, right? But again, this queer blowjob was set up through the police department, through a coke dealer back in Detroit, and he contacted his people. That's what they do, because racism is fake, and then so they can use black police officers doing this, and then they run and snitch to the white police officers, and they pretend like they don't know each other, they pretend like they hate each other. It's all fake. It's all fake. So, anyways, I did all this crazy stuff, and I'm writing my fucking ass off. I get back to my parents in 2004. And I'm, like I said, I slept on the floor for 3 months because I wasn't used to sleeping in a bed. I couldn't sleep in a bed. I slept on the floor for almost 6 months. I had to. I was used to hard surfaces. I was sleeping outside. I was doing all this stuff. Okay? So I go back to Detroit, and the only thing I regret not doing is a play called Harvey. I was cast in a play called Harvey. You know, I'm obsessed with rabbits. I'm obsessed with time. I made a mistake. They would do a rabbit test. If a woman is pregnant, then the rabbit dies. It wasn't if she was getting an abortion. So I made a mistake. I make lots of mistakes on my show. But I am being negged right now. Negative. Any responses I get are negative. They're not allowing anyone to comment on my channel. They're not distributing my channel. I'm completely shadow banned. That's cool. I'll live in the shadows, and I'll stay in the shadows because I did my shadow work, unlike most. If you've ever seen your mother get physically attacked by people, it's a horror, and I don't wish that on anybody. And we were attacked because of our racial ambiguity. Make no mistake about that. Racism is fake. I am a Lumbee Native. Okay? We are Lumbee. We are a people. But those people are in North Carolina. I'm in Detroit, pal. And I play oi punk, and I bleed oi punk. Cut me and find out, phony. Cut me and find out. So, I come back to Detroit and I'm fucking destroyed. I want to get sober. Luckily, my step uncle gives me a job. Like I said, I gave the bass player in my band a job. You know what he tried to do? Get me arrested for coke. That's the thanks I get. You understand what I'm saying? When my other bass player left our band, his name's Hicks. He's a supremacist who happens to be white, the same way Elon Musk is an African American. When he left our band, all of our shows ended. We never did a show. The day he left our band, we never did a show, ever. Until we did a white pride show. That's right. Don't ever forget that. So, anyway, these people are cowards, they're fools, and they were supposed to kill me. This is attempted murder on my life. And the people involved were the people in my band. The drummer of my band was 100% involved in this, and this is how they do it. There's a fake Gordon Ison in Ohio. And also, you know, my wife took me down to Florida, and that's where all the horror happened. I'm gonna explain it to you right now. My name's Gordon Douglas Ison. I'm from Detroit. I wrote every single song in the Grievance Committee, and I could have done it by myself or with other musicians. I'm a songwriter. That's different than a musician. There's musicians and they can't write a fucking song. The drummer of the Grievance Committee was supposed to be my Atticus Ross, and he chose to side with the police and try to have me killed in Michigan, in Florida. Okay, this is very important. I'm going to explain to you how they did it, or explain to you that this is how they create a fake beef. I don't know Jimmy Doom. We did one show with them, and that was it. And don't ever forget that Jimmy Doom didn't write the songs. He's in some band called Almighty Lumberjacks of Death. He didn't write those songs. The guitar player wrote the songs. Okay? In my band, I wrote everything. And I was supposed to die like a guy named David Strouder from Majesty Crush. He was murdered right here in Los Angeles. I just got into it with a Leo, a law enforcement officer, and I told that MFer, I said, I'm not David Strouder. I know how you guys operate. Okay? All they're gonna do is they're gonna say, oh, he didn't take his meds. They're gonna murder me, and people in my own family will believe it. You're my audience. Don't believe it. I'm gonna explain to you how they do it. So I started going on auditions in Detroit. The same people who put up a gun for Jennifer. It's on my IMDb page and I can't take it down. I can't. This is all electronic harassment. It's coming from people like James Kenneth Graham and like the drummer for the Grievance Committee. Okay? I can't think of his name. Clifton. Okay? That's his name. Clifton. Okay, so when I recorded the conversation with Clifton, I called his mother. When I recorded it, she brought up G.G. Allen. G.G. Allen was murdered in New York City. I'm not saying he deserved it or didn't deserve it. I don't fucking know. Okay, he was a rock and roll animal. That's why she brought him up. I am in a system, okay? Right now I'm in downtown LA, and I'm making this video. You can see I'm alive and well, obviously. I'm gonna explain to you how they do this shit. And I am in a mesh. And your friends neg on you. They become negative. That's what they do. And they turn on you. And they do it to people in your family. It's in your phone. And it's not just the government phone. If there's a white hat hacker out there, I give you guys so much gold. I give you so much gold. Man, if any of you were to look into this stuff, you got civil rights claims up the wazoo. Man, you got civil rights cases for years. You go into a store and they're saying, they're giving a code 200. That's a civil rights violation. That is like a $50,000 paycheck right there. I'm just giving it away. Take it. I don't need any money. I like drinking coffee and eating like fruit and salad. I'm on like, you know, my diet that I like. Trust me, I'll still eat up anchovy pizza any day. But anyway, so I'm giving you this gold. if you can get a white hat hacker to take a look at these government phones, it's coming from the government phone, but it's worse than that. It can come from your phone. They can use the Meta app. They can use any app. Right now, they're using the TikTok app. It's all police. It's all police, and it's all behavioral manipulation. It's dangerous tech that they're using. So I got back to Detroit, and I did a ton of jobs. But again, I don't know what their scuttlebutt is. And like I said, some broad's mom had some guy push me around. Then they set up a fake shoot called A Gun for Jennifer, and they weren't planning on putting me in there anyways. They were just goofing on me, right? Okay. Like I said, man, I don't do that stuff. I'm a worker. I'm an earner. And I am the inspiration for a homeless comic. That's what I was telling people I was writing. That's why Shuli and Greg Fitzsimmons were involved in that when I was in Vegas. That's why they were involved in that show. Nobody, you can't even look it up now. If you put in homeless comic Showtime, it won't even come up. Nobody even fucking watched that shit because they're morons. I am the key to this, okay? I am the key. Me, myself and Ison. So I went to Gasoline Alley, and they set up a fake shoot, and these are the guys from Ohio. These guys are professional gang stalkers. They break into your stuff. They're involved in behavioral manipulation, and they're involved in murder. Make no mistake about that. So that's why Jimmy Doom used my likeness in the murder of Ron Beauty. Okay? Don't ever forget that. So, and there was also another kid in a band called the Feisty Cadavers, and he was murdered. Okay? And look whose band becomes best bands in Michigan. My mommy writes for the paper. James Kenneth Graham. He's a bitch, a sissy, and a snitch, and a phony, and a fool. I am telling you, this guy, these people are out of their minds. So, I go to this fake shoot, and it's all guys from Ohio, right? And they're like, 10 people are coming up to me. Oh, Jimmy Doom this, Jimmy Doom that. That includes Solly. I guess that's Jim Hicks's new horse because his horse died, so now he has Solly J. Okay. So anyways, I know all these people, and they went neg on me. All I do is do what I do. I write stories, I make videos, etc., etc. So, we didn't get one show after Hicks left the band. We didn't get one. I wrote an entire album, and just like John Lennon, I was the same age as John Lennon. I went on my first audition. I booked it. Okay, I booked my first audition as an actor, and I just went from there. I told Clifton in the 80s, or it was 1990, to come into the store. I was in the Westland store. I worked at Harmony House Records. And I told him just to take whatever you want, and like a gentleman and a good kid that he used to be. I'm not impressed because you fucking murder people in the hospital. I'm not impressed by that. So he brought up a little stack of CDs and stuff. I'm like, dude. He goes, can I get that box set? I'm like, dude, take whatever you want. And then I gave him a big record box, and he put about $300 worth of CDs and stuff that he wanted in the store. I let him take it because I was the manager there. Anyways, then I moved to New York City. I got work as an actor, and then I moved to Las Vegas. And I got in I call it a million words, but you're not, I wrote my ass off. And it's very cliche to go to Las Vegas and write because of, gonzo journalism, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. But, I went there because of the climate, and I went there because of Jim from Beth Melsky Casting. I go, what happened? I go, where you been? He goes, I just went out to Vegas. He goes, I go, by yourself? He goes, yeah, I went there by myself. He goes, I drove through the desert. It was awesome. That's why I went there. That's why. And I know it's cliche, but after I spent 4 or 5 years there, I went back to Michigan, and I was fucking waterlogged. I hadn't done my shadow work yet. I was still an alcoholic. I had to sleep on the floor. I couldn't even sleep in a bed. My step-uncle got me a job at the pizzeria. Okay, I found out my step-uncle was in a doo-wop band, and his band played at the Greystone Hall. My band played at the Greystone Hall, and I got stories about that. And I owe my guitar player, Steve, an apology for smashing my guitar. I smashed it at the Greystone. I used to smash my guitars until I got a Travis Dean from Kuru. Anyways, so I smashed my guitar and he thought the show was over, but I was actually going to try to sing because we needed a singer. And I thought him and Hicks were going to sing backup. Clifton ended up singing backup for my band, but he was still in high school. And when I left the grievance committee, I was the same age as John Lennon when he stepped onto the stage, out of the cavern and onto the stage. I was ready. But nobody else was ready. Green Day didn't exist. Rancid didn't exist. They did not exist in my world. I was the only person doing this kind of music. And of course, in Michigan, the Peckerwoods, they all made it about race. They're insane. If you're about race, if you're a wood or a blood, you're an insane person. That's it. You're insane. And this is all throughout the police department. Okay? So this is what they did. So I went to a fake shoot at Gasoline Alley, and Jimmy Doom was there. They told me to send my music to Disconnected Records. Disconnected Records doesn't exist. They were trying to bury my music and bury me because they already gave it to this guy in a band called the Glass Heroes. Okay? His name's Keith. I call him Keith the Gerbil because he's in a band called the Gerbils or something like that. Whatever, dude. And again, they had already sold me out a long time ago. They were just trying to bury me. Hicks, the bass player, who's a supremacist who happens to be white, he kept asking me about the Masters. The Masters are at Clifton's place. And they all pretend like they don't talk to each other. That Clifton doesn't talk to Jimmy Doom, doesn't talk to Jim Hicks. They all talk to each other. They know exactly where the Masters are. I'm supposed to be dead. Like David Strouder of Majesty Crush, who died right here. I told you I got into it with a Leo already. So who knows what's going to happen. Anyways, so it was a fake shoot. The whole shoot was fake. The shoot was to get me down to Hamtramck. They took me down there. They said, oh, this is a police procedural. Trust me, LA 44 has nothing to do with anything they talked about on that movie set. They're liars, larpers, losers, and lunkheads. And like I said, I was the inspiration for the homeless stand-up comedian thing that they turned into, whatever they turned it into. And I'm a big fan of Artie Lang. I call him Lenny Bruce Valanche. That's what I call Artie Lang. Anyway, so we were at Gasoline Alley. Okay, I don't even know it exists anymore. I've never even been there. I don't run the mean streets of Royal Oak, but Sissy Doom does. This guy's a coward and a phony and a liar, and his mommy writes for the paper, and I don't even fucking know her name, and I don't give a shit. I don't read her garbage, and I don't read mainstream garbage. I'm out making my own garbage. I make my own content. I don't need to read some phonies. Anyways, watch out for the Philistines. They're everywhere. So, they had me go to Gasoline Alley. And then from there, we went down to Hamtramck. They took me to a warehouse. Like I was supposed to be afraid. This is all their projection. They're projecting all over the fucking place. Like it's supposed to be scary and ooh, we're going to get you. We're going to kill you nonstop. This is nonstop. This is coming from my device. This is coming from Facebook, 1,000%. My wife is involved in this. A woman I married for 7 fucking years. I gotta tell you guys this, man. It's gonna blow your mind. Everything I say is true and real. So, anyway, sorry. I don't have no water. I have nothing here. So I don't have a professional studio and all that, but that's okay. We keep going. So they took me down to Hamtramck, and they took me to a warehouse. And what they were doing there is they wanted to make sure this neurological weapon worked. So the guy came up and he grabbed the script out of my hand and he ripped it out of my hands. Okay? And the guy used the weapon on me. It's a neurological weapon. They used the same thing on Will Smith at the Oscars. Okay? So this is the kind of dangerous territory that I'm in. And it might have came from his wife, or it might have came somebody else. That's why Will Smith got up and slapped Chris Rock. They use the same thing on me. It's called BLT. And sorry, it just is. It's brain, lung, and thyroid. And it boils this right here. Boils the chemicals in your neck. It's fight or flight. So obviously going into fight. This guy grabbed the script out of my hand. So I'm like, I'm a trained actor. You don't touch another actor. You have to ask their permission. Say, hey, in this take, do you mind if I touch you? I'm gonna grab your arm. And most actors are like, you can do whatever you want. I'm trying to do this. It's like, they're so pretentious. It's disgusting. I can't even really be around them a lot of times. These actors are so pretentious. It's like, whatever. So, but you have to ask permission. You cannot touch another actor. You can't kiss another actor. You can't fuck another actor. Whatever. You have to ask permission. You have to let people know what's going on. So I knew these were not professionals, obviously. And this guy comes up and he grabs the script out of my hand. And they used the weapon on me. They started boiling the chemical in my spinal fluid. It shoots up the back. But I found it on Wikipedia. Do you see this right here? If you peel off the skin and you take off all the cartilage, you look at a skull, you see this really thin, there's no bone here at all. And that's where it comes through. That's where it can penetrate, according to Wikipedia, but I know it's a frequency, so it can penetrate anywhere. And then it goes into the hypothalamus, but there's one that's kind of buried underneath the thingy there, right? But that's what they show you on Wikipedia. Anyways, I found evidence of a lot of things. I give you guys gold. You guys go have your cocktail party and don't invite me. Yeah, thanks for nothing, schmucks. So they take me down there and he films it, and he uses the weapon at the same time. They cue him, he comes up and he rips the script out of my hand, and I walk up and I punch him right in the fucking head. The same way I had to utilize this technique on Lana, who's an ecstasy dealer in New York City. She was dealing ecstasy on behalf of the Gambino. And around that same time, Michael Ellig and Peter Gatien, they were all getting busted. And someone who was involved in the murder with Michael Ellig is Don DeLillo. Don DeLillo's son. Don DeLillo's son was involved in that murder. They don't talk about him. He OD'd. He cooperated with the sheriff's department or whoever investigated. That's why they gave Michael Ellig only 10 years, because all he did was dispose of the body. He never killed anybody. This is very important. Lana was going to prison. She was gonna get busted. So either she had to turn state's evidence or go do the jail time. I was gonna do the jail time for her. Obviously, I'm the gentleman. That's what we do, okay? It doesn't matter if she had masculine energy or I have feminine, right? Take a look at guys in rock and roll bands. What do? They grow long hair, they dress like broads, and what are they known to? F groupies. They're known to be hypersexual, and they're fucking all these broads, and they got these beautiful women, blah, blah, blah. Do you understand? You see the balance of the anima and the animus? Can you see this? Because you have to, because it's within all of us, right? All right, so that's what they used. They used a weapon. That's what they used on me. All throughout, I was with Jean Tandler. Her father is the CEO of Lord & Taylor. I don't know a fucking Lord & Taylor. I know Macy's and Hudson's. I'm from Detroit, bitch. Okay? I don't know a fucking Lord & Taylor, nor do I care. When a broad comes to me and she's in trouble, or someone dressed like one, they come to me and they're in trouble, then you want to help, because we're all chivalrous and we all want to help out. Okay? That's what she did. She came to me. She used me because her father was a racist and whatever. I don't really care. I don't give a shit. But that she knew it would piss off of her father. She also used a weapon on me, okay? And this is the same neurological weapon that they used on the Jimmy Doom shoot at Gasoline Alley. I call it Gasoline Alley, but we went down to Hamtramck. Nobody knows what the fuck Hamtramck is. Okay? Right? And she used this weapon on me for 7 years. She gaslit me and told me I was having a brain aneurysm, but she was using the same weapon, and that's the information that they got. And they were convinced that I would hit her. The same technique I used on Lana, who is the ecstasy dealer in New York, because she was going to go to prison. I was going to go to prison for her, but I had to make sure that she was my old lady, because I was ride or die. I was ride or die then. I'm ride or die now. Get it now, do you? This weapon was used by my wife, and it was used on me numerous times over the years, and she gaslit me. That's why I was supposed to die. And I didn't. I outsmarted you all. I'm in the stacks. I'm in Los Angeles. I'm a writer. I'm an actor. I'm a videographer. And I just want to say thank you very much for watching my show. I appreciate it more than you'll ever know.